I was going to do a talk about Matt Kahn because he sent me a nice email. And in the email, he said, if you can, please avoid repeating what other people have talked about. So I guess I'm going to follow his instructions and not talk about what he talked about. I already talked about how I'm under demonic attack. Every time you see me do this herky jerky, that's me feeling some energy that's coming into this body and making this body do herky jerky, like this. It's very unpleasant. You can't sleep. You can't do too much. And where is it coming from? I don't even understand it. I don't have any insight into it. All I know is it goes on day after day after day. I don't want to tell you. Some people say it's collective. I say, no, it's not. I say it's not collective energies, even though I just did a video saying it was. Because if I repeat the last video, then what's the point of making a new video? So I'm going to interpret it a different way. And when I interpret it saying it's not collective and it's not my energy, then where is it coming from? It's coming from this hologram. The hologram is what we consider to be planet Earth. And the hologram itself has got a lot of issues. It's a very nasty hologram. Some people call it 3D Earth. Whatever you want to call it, it's Earth. And it's got all kinds of horrible, horrible, horrible. And I don't want to talk about horrible, 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 because then I give my energy to the horrible, horrible. So, is it ever going to be lots of interesting things for us to do? Or is it going to be an assignment? In other words, you come to the Earth hologram for a lifetime and you suffer. And maybe you learn some Buddhist tricks. But pretty much, even when you learn the Buddhist tricks, they don't help you day to day. They don't help you because they just don't. They don't stop you from experiencing whatever the fuck is going on in this planet. It just goes on like this all night, just randomly herky-jerky in the body. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. What is it in the Earth hologram that is doing this? The answer is, I'm not getting any words. There is nothing I can do about it, so I just have to accept that living here on planet Earth is hell. You see? It's just hell. And then somebody's trying to encourage me to reframe this and to look at it in a positive light. And then I remember the Ascended Master Sananda, who said when things like this happen, look for the silver lining. And he would say, what is the gift? What's the gift of being psychic attacked day after day after day? I don't have a defense. It was funny because Yesterday on my Facebook feed, there was one of those games you play, and it was to determine which of the Hogwarts houses from Harry Potter do I belong to. It said I belong to Slytherin, and it said my expertise is defenses against the dark arts. So if I am being attacked by dark wizards, what is my defense? I'm not a wizard. I never went to Hogwarts, and I don't belong to Slytherin. And I don't know how to defend against whatever kind of psychic attacks these things are. Is it epilepsy? Someone wants to know. Maybe you need a brain scan. I've had brain scans before. Nothing ever came up. It's not anything that get picked up by one of those MRI machines. How can you live like this? Well, what I always do is, I'm sorry, Matt Kahn, but I'm going to tell you some hearsay. When I was following Osho, the spiritual teacher, and his Zen tarot cards, there's one that says moment to moment. In other words, be present in the present moment and then skip to the next moment, skip to the next moment. Being Here Now was a book by another spiritual teacher. You can be here now. And another one that keeps coming up is the Courtney Love song by her band Hole. And the band's album was called Live Through This. And I guess that describes it a little bit too. Trying a new hat. This hat wants to remind all of you that in search of something to do, maybe you might like to gather up all of your things and get yourself ready for going back to normal work. Disappointing as it might seem, there's a lot of people pushing in demonstrations, according to the news and the YouTube. They want to get back to work. What does it mean to me? It means the sheeple are going back to their jobs. There's no change because these sheeple want to protest being quarantined and they're calling it tyranny. But the simple fact is, these people are not doing inner work. Instead of spending all day holding signs up and going out and interviewing people on the street for YouTube, they ought to be sitting at home meditating and dealing with their inner lack of self-knowledge. But my videos don't get 1 million views, so it's not like they're going to get my video and go, that's a good idea. Basically, I'm going to have to return to what Matt Kahn sent me because I've got nothing else to tell you. In his email to me today, he said there are going to be 3 waves of people going to Earth Ascension. He said how you participate is due to your choices. The first group that is not going to ascend is those people who are involved with playing video games and doing drugs and alcohol. You're not ascending if you're playing video games and doing drugs and alcohol. Are you ever going to ascend? He says at some point, because he looked into what's known as the Akashic Records, apparently there is an Earth ascension, and apparently at some point you're going to get to go. But maybe it's going to be 42,000 lifetimes before you get to go, before you get sick of doing drugs, alcohol, and playing video games. It's quite unlikely that anybody like that is going to be watching my video because they're going to be drunk, stoned, and playing video games and not watching my YouTube channel. So I don't think you're going to be one of those people if you're watching this video. The second wave of people that are not going to be ascending right now are those people that are out protesting everything. The people who are spending a lot of time looking at what the dark are doing. In other words, if you're following all kinds of conspiracy theory websites, and that's all that's on your mind is all of these horrible people doing these horrible things, you're not going to ascend. What you're doing is you are matching the vibration of those potential people who are basically you, but wearing a different skin suit. Why? Because you have the same energy. And you're pointing fingers at other people. That actually is your way of matching their vibration. So you're pulling yourself into their holographic reality. So between you and them, you're both manufacturing, or sometimes it's called in spiritual work, because you are a creator being. You are creating your own reality. And if you're focusing on this stuff, where attention goes, energy flows. And you're flowing your energy into crystallizing all this information that you're picking up from YouTube, websites, 4chan, Twitter, other people that are into conspiracy theories. You are crystallizing that reality for you, and that's what you're going to experience. I don't know how to explain it to you other than that's your creation. And if you ever listen to Dolores Cannon, she talks about how there are holographic inserts into reality. So you might be pointing the finger at some celebrity who you think is doing something wrong. And in your crystallized reality, you're going to see a hologram of some celebrity that you are accusing of doing something horrible to. And that hologram is not going to be the real celebrity because they're going to be in a different reality. What? I keep telling you, you create your own reality. And if you keep putting out this information that there are dark forces and we ought to have QAnon and we got to have all these other people on YouTube keep pointing out all this stuff, you're matching that energy. You're going to crystallize it. And to your eyes, you're going to see darkness. You have a choice. You can stop following all of these conspiracy theories, laugh at them, and say, I don't want that to be my focus. I don't want that to be my deep dip, blip, blip, blip. And in the end, you're just going to have to disconnect from not only mainstream news, but YouTube. If you want to know how to ascend in the first wave, you're going to have to wait for my next video because I'm almost at 15 minutes and Instagram TV only gives me 15 minutes. If you like this information, please subscribe and share. I must warn you that I am very unusual and I give you these kind of videos and I give you some comic character videos, and it's not really, the same as some of these other commentators that are all talking about Earth ascension. I do talk about it a lot of bit, but maybe